I got into magic when I was around 12 years old. And I'm 27 now, so I've devoted more than half my life to this. This is natural magic. Little experiment. May I grab a seat beside you very quickly? Watch and believe. Moving objects with the power of your mind. Is it possible? The laws of physics permit me to do what I do. Is it natural to levitate, a beer bottle, say? Is that a natural event? Yes, it is natural. How do we systematically investigate that? Well, we can use, the scientific method to do that. You feel that? It's PK burst, a psychokinetic burst, where the laws of physics permit it to happen. Here, hold it upside down. All right, that's cool. Just like that. Hold it very lightly. All right? Again, nothing's around it. All right? Just hold it there. Hold it very lightly. This is physically up against gravity. You feel that?
I read tarot cards, I work with astrological charts and data, and I do all sorts of psychic reading work. It's hard to separate the work from any form of spiritual belief because the work itself deals with spiritual matters. So if you didn't have any foundation in spiritual belief, if you didn't believe in a source greater than just yourself, then the signs and symbols themselves would be essentially meaningless. Spiritual energy has an awful lot to do with this kind of work because basically what you're doing is taking a spiritual perspective, another perspective that's available.
I believe in evidence. That's clean and simple. If there is no evidence to support a belief, I'm not going to believe it. All right? I'm a very skeptical person, when it comes to many people's beliefs or claims to the paranormal. Clean and simple. My beliefs are, or basically my philosophy is this. I am guided by reason and humanity rather than by faith in or fear of mythical beings or forces.
I think what magicians do is exceptionally interesting. I'm fascinated by that. But they have the technique around creating illusion. I don't know that maybe if I wasn't practicing as a magician, I wouldn't believe that it was all within my own hands. It is the creation of illusion, but just because they have the power to create those specific illusions and they understand that principle doesn't necessarily mean that anything outside of that realm is invalid.
Well, a psychic, by calling themselves a psychic, claims supernatural powers. And yet most of the time, they may themselves believe that they possess these powers, but they're being delusional. What's happening is there's some sort of break in the chain of rational thought, right? For instance, when the phone rings, they think it's their friend Herb. They pick up the phone, right? And there it's Herb.
We haven't met before, have we? We haven't prearranged anything, have we? Just think of your last name. Actually, the first initial, the first letter of your last name. You haven't told me your name either. Okay, obviously these are guesses. What's your first name? Julie. What's your last name? Cinch?
Cinch.
Oh, Zed. Okay, good. Because the statistical chances of me having written JZ.
Can you read? Right? How are you doing? Oh my God! You're scaring the shit out of me.
Well, science and ESP, two completely different things. Magic is regarded as, the second oldest profession. And in fact, in the early days, the magicians were the scientists. I do all types of magic, anything from a card trick to a large stage illusion, cutting somebody in half, making something float, or, making coins disappear. Hopefully, somewhere in the deck, a card will appear. Now, the face was the easy part. The difficult part is the back. Now, as you can imagine, though, the back takes a great deal of imagination. In fact, so much so that I end up not thinking about the face, and then, of course, that vanishes. But now that you know the whole deal, maybe we could do both at the same time. If I just give the deck one tap, you know what that does? Nothing. I just like doing it. But it doesn't matter because what ends up happening is a card appears, a 9 of spades. If I give the deck 2 taps, then we get a back. Now, I'm sure that's not the card that everybody was imagining. But now that you know how to use the deck, just imagine any card again. Use your imagination. There is no difference between magic and illusion. Again, though, it comes down to what your definition is of magic. For example, you use the word illusionist as someone who does real magic. Well, that's an oxymoron. It's an illusionist. It can't possibly be real. It's an illusion.
I say, look, I'm an illusionist. I claim no supernatural powers. Yes, the objects move. It's natural, not supernatural. I tell them that I'm an illusionist, and yet they don't believe me.
It's all about making it seem natural. To be able to perform magic requires practice. That's all it is. You decide that that's something you want to do. You research it, you practice it, and then you present it. And the more you practice it and the more you present it, the more natural it seems, and the more it will appear to be real magic, or what you perceive to be real magic.
A mentalist is a performer who uses sound psychological principles like neurolinguistic programming and voice inflection and body language and microexpression, combined with telepathy and intuition, and combined with the power of suggestion to pick up on the thoughts of the audience members. Everything I do is scientifically oriented. It really is. It's all based on psychology, and I think I'm more slanted toward that end than to say that anything I do is mystical or new age or supernatural in any way, shape, or form. You and I have never met before in any way, shape, or form. Is that correct?
That's
so we've
true.
done nothing prearranged.
No.
You're just being a good enough sport to join me here, and I appreciate it. I want you to choose anyone, free choice.
Okay.
Okay, take that one. Take a look at it. Check it out. So it looks all right.
Seems fine to me.
People say there's electronic devices. Magicians have tried to duplicate this with mirrors and what have you. That's not what this is. I want you, when I ask you, to look right at me. That's all I have to ask from you, is that you look directly at me. And we're going to use the first word on every page. You'll notice the first word is different on each and every page.
Right.
Okay? So if I were to, say, thumb through the pages, I'll look away. You say stop whenever you want.
Stop.
Okay, out loud, what is the first word on that page there?
Dread.
This time, I want you to say stop, but don't say out loud the word you're thinking of. Just mentally think of the word, okay, as best you can. So you just say stop whenever your heart desires.
Stop.
Right there. I want you to take a good look at the first word on the page you're looking at.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? Hold on to the book. Concentrate on that word. Think of nothing else but that word in your mind's eye. Okay? Now this is where I want you to look at me, okay? Focus your thought right into my head. If I ask you any questions, you simply answer yes or no, okay? Okay, I don't know. I'm just going to go with what I think. Focus on me. Think of the last letter. Are there two letters which are the same that are near each other?
There are two letters that are the same.
I'm going to go with this. Yeah, I'm going to commit myself to that. Okay, so for the first time, Brendan, and honestly, there's no way I could know what word you're thinking of. Is
No.
that right? Okay, would you name what word you're thinking of?
You want me to say the
Yeah,
word?
out loud.
Shoulders.
Shoulders. Ladies and gentlemen, believe it or not, shoulders.
That is unbelievable.
There you go. Good. They can judge for themselves whether it's real or not real.
Thanks a lot.
What I do shows the audience that there's more to the human mind than meets the eye. And I'm not all supernatural and incredible and mystical. I'm just the average person like everybody else who's developed this ability, like anyone can, to tap into their mind and use it to its greatest potential.
If you call yourself a psychic, either you believe you're psychic for whatever reason, whether it's observational bias or wishful thinking, or some sort of delusion, right? And the other way is fraud, clean out fraud, right? If I were to call myself a psychic, that would be fraud, because I'm not a psychic. I claim no supernatural powers.
I think skepticism is good and common sense is good. Not everything that you hear is believable. But I also think it's key to have an open mind and an open heart just in the human experience itself. It's interesting about science because as far as I'm concerned, they really can't prove any of the major things in life anyway. We've all experienced love, we've all experienced sadness or kindness or anger. I don't see any of those as provable in any kind of scientific terms that I've ever understood or heard about.
If you ask me if I believe that there's real magic based on supernatural ability, I'd have to say no. I think science has answered a lot of questions about the way the universe works, and that we don't have to rely on looking up to gods or demigods. I'm not saying they don't exist. I'm just saying I think we have to put more emphasis rather on science than we do in the mystical realm.
Those are analogies representing typical childhood psychic experiences, little kids who know things that they're just not supposed to know. And for the sensitive or the person who grows up to be a psychic, very often in their childhood, there'll be experiences like that where they will just have known what was going on, again, like with mother or grandmother or father or whoever. As children, whatever happens to us becomes part of our natural experience, so we don't question until outside influence starts to tell us that it's our imagination or we're just daydreaming or starts to edit the process out for us.
But who are the psychics? There's more reason to believe that what I do is real than what a typical psychic who gives bad evidence is real. My job is to chase after credible evidence. The whole concept of science is, science is a methodology. It's a way of rationalizing things. It's a way of systematically investigating our universe. And that's what I do. I systematically investigate it. All I care about are results.
Science has a 12-inch ruler that they've created, and they think it's wonderful and magnificent. And they go out and try to measure the universe, and they see that it's somewhat maybe extending beyond those 12 inches. So instead of what I perceive that happens that they do is they say, because it exists outside of the 12-inch ruler that I've created, it therefore doesn't exist.
Science helped me in two places. One is, I learned what isn't real so I could start chasing what is real. Most people look at the stars and they say, oh wow, look at all these bright lights, right? But science allows you to look up and you now truly understand where you are.
Science hasn't really changed anything except to, sort of split people up into two groups, those that believe and those that don't.
The people that come into my show who are skeptics are going to remain skeptical, whatever I do. They're going to remain skeptical. They're going to think, oh, it must be a trick, or it must be some sort of stooges or something going on. And the people that come in believing that there's telepathy is possible, and precognition, and clairvoyance, and psychokinesis, and all that, they're going to continue to believe.
Silver coin, copper coin. Okay, this, I've got it now. This is it. The copper coin goes into the pocket, leaving the silver coin. No. You know what? It's probably best, to be honest, if we completely forget about this trick until I learn it a little better.
A lot of people say, Eric, are you born with this? I'm an ordinary man. Magic is my magnificent obsession.